I stopped turning my compost and it turned into black gold overnight. Welcome back to gentle herb gardening, friends. Before we jump in, if you love discovering nature's quiet shortcuts, the kind that save time and make your garden thrive, make sure you subscribe and tap the bell icon. Because today I'm revealing something that completely shattered what I thought I knew about composting. For years I believed that to get perfect compost, that rich, earthy, crumbly soil, I had to turn my pile every few days. You know the drill, fork it, flip it, sweat through it. But one day I stopped. And well, what happened next honestly shocked me. The compost got darker, richer, and more alive than ever before. It all started last season when I got too busy to keep up with my compost. Rain fell, leaves piled up, and, I just let nature handle it. Weeks passed, no stirring, no maintenance. I expected a soggy mess, but when I finally checked, I found deep, jet-black compost, soft as cake crumbs, smelling like a forest floor after rain. It wasn't dead or slimy. It was thriving. That's when I realized maybe compost doesn't need our constant interference. Maybe it just needs us to get out of the way. Think about it. In a forest, no one turns the leaves. No gardener flips fallen branches or aerates the undergrowth. Yet every year the forest floor stays dark, fertile, and full of life. That's because decomposition isn't just about air. It's about ecosystem cooperation. Worms, fungi, bacteria, beetles, they all work in layers. When we keep turning the compost, we destroy their tiny homes, exposing the deeper layers to air and, well, drying them out. But when we stop turning, those micro-ecosystems stabilize. The worms create air channels, the fungi spread naturally, and the bacteria break down material from top to bottom, exactly like in the wild. So, what's really going on inside a no-turn compost pile? When left undisturbed, compost develops oxygen gradients, tiny zones where both aerobic or oxygen-loving and anaerobic or oxygen-limited microbes can thrive. This diversity actually speeds up the breakdown of organic matter. Instead of a one-size-fits-all environment, you get microclimates, some wet, some dry, all teeming with life. This natural balance helps the compost mature faster and become richer in humus, that dark, spongy material that gives soil its structure and water-holding ability. And because you're not flipping it constantly, the pile retains more heat and moisture, both essential for microbial life. Here's the beautiful part. When you stop turning, the worms return. Every time you disturb a compost pile, worms have to flee. But when it stays still, they move in permanently, tunneling, mixing, and enriching the soil from within. They aerate it better than any shovel could. Their castings, or worm droppings, are full of nitrogen, phosphorus, and trace minerals. It's no longer hot composting, it's living composting. Now, before you think it's as simple as walking away, there's a method to the magic. Here's exactly what worked for me. First, layer your materials carefully. Start with a layer of coarse browns, things like twigs, dried leaves, or straw. Then add a layer of greens, kitchen scraps, grass clippings, or manure. Just keep alternating those layers and always finish with a brown layer right on top. Next, moisture is key. Your compost should feel, well, sort of like a damp sponge. Not soaked, but definitely not dry either. If it's too wet, it'll suffocate, and if it's too dry, it'll just stall out. And then let oxygen in naturally. Worms and soil organisms will do a lot of the work for you. But, you can help them out by adding a few vertical sticks or hollow stems when you're building the pile. These act as little air vents without disturbing your careful layers. So don't compact it. Keep your pile nice and fluffy. You want small gaps for airflow, really, and cover it. A simple tarp, cardboard, or even a straw layer keeps in warmth and moisture, while also preventing heavy rains from washing nutrients away. Then you wait. Depending on your climate, the transformation can take anywhere from 8 to 16 weeks. No turning, no effort, just, time. When it's ready, the pile will shrink by half, smell earthy, and crumble between your fingers. When I compared my no-turn compost to the traditional batch, the difference was incredible. The no-turn pile was darker, moister, and richer in visible fungal threads, those white strands that signal living soil. It had more worms, more humus, and retained moisture far longer. Plants grown in it had deeper roots, thicker stems, and greener leaves. And here's something fascinating. The no-turn compost had less nitrogen loss. By not over-aerating the pile, I trapped more nutrients in the material, instead of letting them escape as gas. So, while everyone was sweating over their compost forks, nature was doing the job better, for free. The more I study nature, the more I realize it doesn't need saving, it needs observing. When we mimic natural systems instead of fighting them, everything changes. Our soil gets darker, our plants get stronger, and our workload gets lighter. Sometimes the best gardening trick isn't about doing more, it's about doing less. And that's what this lazy compost taught me. Stillness isn't neglect, it's respect. So if you're tired of turning compost and chasing perfection, try giving your pile, and nature, a little more trust. You might just find yourself holding the richest soil you've ever made. Thank you for watching Gentle Herb Gardening. If you enjoyed this revelation, give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who still thinks compost needs constant turning. And remember, the best soil is living soil. Let it breathe, let it rest, and let it grow. Subscribe for more natural secrets, forgotten gardening wisdom, and simple methods that bring your garden back to life, one layer at a time.